there from the St. Louis Aquarium here at Union Station. We are so excited to be able to stay connected with all of you out there. We are here every day still taking care of the animals that we love here so much, and we're excited for everybody to be able to get back here down the road when we're all feeling a little bit better. So in the meantime, though, we are wanting to show you guys a little bit of the things that we're doing back here behind the scenes, taking care of the animals. And a big part of what we do every single day is diving in the aquariums. We actually need to do that every day to take proper care of the animals. One, it just does make it look a lot nicer. That way you guys can see through the acrylic and it does look nicer. But honestly, it's the best way to take care of the animals as well. It keeps a nice, clean environment for the animals. We get in there, we vacuum the gravel. It gets up all the debris and everything that collects down there. It keeps it a healthier environment for the animals as well. So what we are going to talk about is some of our diving equipment. And I will tell you guys, it is so much fun to actually be able to dive here at the aquarium. It is definitely fun, but it is also very serious business. So there's lots of paperwork that's involved. There's dive plans and preparation that's involved with all of it, and a lot of really important equipment. So, unlike the fish, we cannot just see and breathe underneath of the water. So we have to use all of this really super cool equipment right here. So one of the first things that we want is to be able to see under the water. The human eye cannot see under the water the same way that fish see underneath of the water. So we need to create an airspace between our eye and the water so that we can actually see clearly. And when we're actually testing out our masks, we start like this. We want to just get kind of a nice feel. Can we get a suction? Just like that. And then that is actually a nice fitting mask right there. So that would be one of the number one essential pieces of equipment. And of course, too, if you're actually just out enjoying the ocean as well, you can use a mask when you're also snorkeling. But if you need to be breathing underwater, that's where this equipment comes into play. This is called scuba equipment. Scuba is S-C-U-B-A. That stands for self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, otherwise known as scuba equipment. So to be able to breathe underneath of the water, we actually do need to have compressed air. So right down over here in front, that is a scuba tank. It is filled with compressed air. Now, a lot of times people will actually say, oh, we're breathing oxygen, when in fact, that's not totally the case. It's air, just like exactly what we breathe, what's around us. It is just compressed down into a smaller space. Now, that does mean that that air is in a very high pressure tank right there. So now we need to be able to take that from that high pressure tank to be able to breathe it. So for that, we have the regulator. So what we have here is actually, this is the first stage. So this would be the first stage of taking that high pressure air and reducing it down into a pressure that we can actually breathe. So this piece right here unscrews like that, and this will set down over the top of the tank, and then you screw that back into place. It's always very important to keep all of this equipment really clean and taken care of. We clean it on a daily basis, so we'll get that right back there into its proper spot. And then it comes through these high pressure hoses. This is called your second stage. So it's the regulator. This is the piece that's actually going to go into your mouth to be able to breathe through. So this high pressure hose reduces that pressure into a pressure that we can actually breathe. And then we have a backup. This is called the octopus. It's kind of just a fun name, but it's really just sort of a second high pressure hose down into a regulator there, so that we have, in case something was to happen, this regulator was to break, then we have a second regulator with us. And the entire time, you will want to be able to check your air pressure with your air pressure gauge. That way you know exactly how much air pressure you still have in your tank, so you know approximately how much time you have left being able to breathe under the water, just like the fish. So from there, we move to another source of air. So in case something happens with our tank and we run out of air in our tank or we have some other sort of problem, we also carry with us this. It's called spare air, which is exactly like what it sounds. It is spare air. It's extra air. So just in case we need it, we actually have this. We can take this off of our belt. We can put this into our mouth, and it gives us enough air to make sure and calmly and safely be able to get to the surface of the water to be able to get out of the tank. Now, another thing, fish seem to be so beautiful at being able to control their buoyancy. They can dive down deep, they can swim up to the surface. Well, we want to be able to do the same thing, but we are not necessarily as graceful or built for that water environment. So we need some extra bits of help. So we have weights. And everybody needs a little bit of a different amount of weight depending on maybe how much body fat we have and how buoyant that might make us. So we need to have some weight to be able to get us to be able to descend down into the water. And we can wear those in a weight belt that actually just comes around our waist. Or we also have these really cool packs right here on this device, which I'm going to tell you about in a moment, where we can put weights inside of here as well. Now, these also have quick releases, so in the event that we actually do need to get rid of that weight, we are always able to take that weight off of our body so that we can also ascend to the surface if we need to as well. So we also do need to have a little bit of additional control with that buoyancy sometimes. So this is a really super cool jacket that we wear that has an air bladder in the back. And it also is connected to the air tank so that we can go ahead and add a little bit of air in here if we need to help us control that buoyancy. And the goal is to be neutrally buoyant. That way we can just hold super still in one place and we're just floating right there in that one spot in the water. So that's the ideal. That's called neutral buoyancy, and that's what we're really looking for. However, when we're diving here in the aquarium, a lot of times we actually want to stay extra weighted because we want to be all the way down on the bottom. We need to be vacuuming the gravel. We need to be scrubbing. And when we're scrubbing, we push ourselves away from that rock work. So we're kind of wanting to pull ourselves towards it to be able to scrub the rock work or to wipe the acrylic on the inside. Or when we're vacuuming and we need to really get down there into the bottom, we want to be weighted enough where we're really down there on the bottom. It's kind of like walking on the moon. We really want to be weighted enough so that we're going to be able to actually stay down there on the bottom of the tank to really do all of that work that we need to be doing down there as well. So having said that, that is really a lot of the main pieces of equipment that we use on a daily basis to help us get into that fish environment and be able to take care of them properly every single day. And again, I will tell you that it is really, really fun. It's something that I really love, and I'm sure all of us here would recommend scuba diving or snorkeling for everybody, really remembering that the whole idea, our whole mission here at the aquarium is creating those connections between our animals and our guests. And the more you are able to get out there into nature, enjoy the environment, visit your rivers and streams and the oceans, and I highly recommend getting right out there into it and experiencing some snorkeling and scuba diving yourself. All right, everybody. Well, this was really a lot of fun for me. I hope you had fun too, learning a little bit more about the scuba equipment that we use here every day at the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. But now I have a real exciting treat for you. We are actually going to kick it over to our Shark Canyon habitat, where in the water right now we have our general curator, Aaron Sproul, also happens to be a dive master, and he is actually going to be in the water talking directly to you with a little bit more information for you about the fish and about the habitats and about the equipment that we have here as well. So with that, all right, let's head on over there and chat with Aaron.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the St. Louis Aquarium. Make some rabbit ears above Amber. Hi, Amber.
Hello, Fens. Thank you for joining us today, Kat. That was amazing. I feel like we learned so much. So we are live in Shark Canyon right now, and we have 2 divers in the water today. We have Aaron Sproul, who's going to wave to you. Say hello, Aaron.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. And then we also have Charmaine as well. They are both divers here at the St. Louis Aquarium, and they are so excited to answer your questions today. So we are actually practicing probably a really great form of social distancing right now. So even though we're not technically 6 feet apart, there is a lot of plexiglass going on here. So hello. So we're staying safe over here. So Aaron, I know you can hear me right now, and we're talking together, but when you're underwater, how do you talk to divers who don't have another mask like yours?
That's a very good question, Amber. So, like Charmaine here, she can't hear me like you can hear me. So if I want to talk to her, I have to use hand signals. So what I'll do is I'll ask her, "Are you okay?" She'll tell me she's okay. Can I ask her if she's comfortable? You good? Okay, so we just do different types of hand signals. So the same thing, if I want to ask her like how much air she has, I can ask her questions like that. I can tell her, let's swim over there, or let's swim over here, or I can tell her we can go up, or we can go down. So there's a lot of different hand signals that we use to communicate. A lot of it's like, stop, wait, so look at me, so I can tell her to look at me, and I can even tell her to turn around.
Ooh, tricks in the water.
I know, right? So she does a great job.
Awesome. So what are we looking at right now? What are these fish that are swimming around you?
So this is our best view ever, I think, of the aquarium. We're in our 250,000 gallon Shark Canyon. We have tons of schooling fish swimming around me. So you can see all the pilchards swimming above me, all the silver shimmery stuff. I have a great school of porkfish getting ready to go right behind me, with some yellow jacks kind of swimming in with them. So some really great animals. And occasionally, I don't know if you look, but one of the signals we use is shark. So if we see a shark, let me know.
Absolutely. I will keep my hands ready for you.
They assured me there's no sharks, so we're safe. Oh, wait a minute.
Not right now.
It is called Shark Canyon, though.
It is, absolutely.
Okay.
Are you ready to take some questions from our viewers?
Absolutely. I want
Okay.
some really good questions.
Awesome. So Eli from St. Charles wants to know, how do you keep the sharks and other fish from biting you?
Oh, that's a very good question. So, Eli, one of the cool things about sharks is they only eat about once every 2 weeks in the wild. So they don't eat that often as much as what people think they eat. So, but we feed our sharks every other day. So we feed them a little bit of food, and it always keeps them nice and full, keeps that nice belly nice and round for them, and then they don't want to eat anything else, including me.
Well, that's good, because we like you here at the aquarium. Let's see. Jensen from Wisconsin, wow, Wisconsin, thank you for watching today, wants to know how many minutes of air are in your tank.
Well, hi, Jensen, that's a good question. So, the amount of air in your tank depends on how deep you go. So that's a really interesting question. So if we go really, really deep, say like 100 feet deep, that tank may only have about 5-10 minutes of air in it. But if we stay at the depth that we're at now, we can actually stay underwater probably for a good hour, 2 hours. So just depends on how much everybody breathes.
Wow, that's a really long time.
So, yeah, we tend to get cold more than before we run out of air.
That's another question that we have. Andrew, who's 4 years old, says, how does the water feel? Is it very cold?
So, Andrew, that's a really good question. So this is actually what's called a tropical tank. So right now we're running at a great 78 degrees.
Ooh, that
in this
sounds
tank.
good.
So it's just a little cooler than probably your bath water that you would take a bath in.
Sure. Awesome. So it feels great in there, is what Aaron says. Okay, so Emily asks, how many sharks are in the tank?
Oh, that's a really good question, Emily. Hopefully not a whole lot, considering I've been here with them. But no, we actually have quite a few sharks. So we actually have 2 sandbar sharks. We have 6 black-nosed sharks, 2 nurse sharks, a white-tip reef shark, and our are 3 zebra sharks that are occasionally swimming around here somewhere. So, but yeah, there's quite a few sharks, and there's even more to come. So we always want to encourage people to come out and keep seeing the sharks that are going to be here.
So fun. Now, a lot of people are asking about the Goliath grouper. Where did he go?
He looks like he got camera shy and took off. So
Oh, no.
he can actually go. So this tank is 120 feet long. So to give you an idea, this area that we're in now is only about 25 feet of the tank. So it goes about another 100 feet that way. So that Goliath grouper has a lot of room to swim around in.
So it's very deep.
And very deep. Yep, 18 feet deep. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully he'll come back and see us soon.
Okay, so we have a lot of people who seem to be interested in wanting to be a diver when they grow up. Can you tell us what your journey was and what you had to do in order to become a diver?
Yeah, so I've been diving a really, really long time because I'm really, really old.
He's really old, guys.
So I actually got certified in 1990. So it's an open, generally what you'll do is you'll go to your local dive shop. They offer a really cool course called Discover Scuba, which I would always recommend somebody do. Because what that does is kind of get you in like a pool, put the scuba gear on, and you can kind of get a good experience of what it's like to actually be underwater. Then if you really, really like it, you can start your courses. So you'll do your open water course, and then you'll do your advanced open water, and then you go to rescue. So all our divers here, we are getting rescue certified. Some of them aren't, but they are in the process of getting rescue certified. And then if you really want to take it further, you can become a master diver, which is a non-professional certification, or you can become like me, who's actually a dive master, which is actually a professional certification. So it means I can actually work in the industry, in the dive industry, and do basically jobs as that.
Awesome. So obviously the St. Louis Aquarium is an awesome place to dive, but Hadley from Iowa wants to know, where's your favorite place to dive that you've ever dove before?
Hadley, that's a great place. So I'm going to go with the Great Barrier Reef. The Great Barrier Reef is probably one of the best places I've ever dove. The animals are amazing, and I think probably why I enjoy it the most is because I've dove all over the Caribbean and Florida, but when I dove the Great Barrier Reef, I got to see animals that I'd never seen before, like cuttlefish and manta rays and whale sharks. So it was just a really great experience.
Awesome. What's your favorite sort of sea animal?
So my favorite sort of sea animal would probably have...
Ooh, shark.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, look, that's a zebra shark. So he's a real friendly shark. He's probably coming to say hi and see what I'm doing. So these sharks are really cool because they'll come down and they like to be scratched. So we'll scratch them, you know, like your dog.
Yeah.
They'll come up to you and you just give them a good scratch, and they enjoy it, and then they go swimming off. So, yep, but he's one of our zebra sharks.
Now, I heard zebra sharks, when they're younger, they will have stripes, but then what happens to those stripes as they get older?
So, yeah, it is funny because we call it a zebra shark, but it actually has spots like a leopard. So, but how they got their common name is, when they're babies, little bitty things, they actually do have stripes exactly like a zebra. But as that shark grows, so that's probably a subadult, as that shark grows, those spots or those stripes start spreading out and they form the spots.
Yeah, the zebra shark is very fun to look at.
One of my favorite sharks. Really, really personable.
Okay, so we stopped asking you what your favorite animal was, so...
So, favorite animal. Oh, there's so many great ones. Probably my favorite one is a bowmouth guitar shark, though. It's kind of a cross between like a ray and a shark. It's got just a big, huge, like armored head with like razor type things on its head. So it's like something out of Mad Max or something.
I love that movie.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. So, the James kids from Gardner, Kansas want to know approximately how much total weight do you have on, including the tank?
So, Charmaine, for instance, if you notice, I don't have a tank on. So, and the reason I don't is I'm actually tethered to the surface, and that allows me to talk to you. And now I like a dog getting caught in a leash. So no, I don't wear any weight. So I'm actually wearing 20 pounds of weight. So you can see all this lead weight. 20 pounds to help me sink down here so I can talk to you. Otherwise, because I'm so buoyant, I would be floating around at the surface. Now, Charmaine here, if you notice, she's got a big scuba tank on the back of her. So that's a pretty good chunk of weight. She's got all the equipment, the regulators and everything, another good chunk of weight. So Charmaine's probably only wearing about 16 pounds of weight. So, and a lot of it depends on how much extra cushioning you have. So the more cushioning, the more buoyant you tend to be.
Awesome. The Madeline from Wentzville wants to know how you know when you're getting close to running out of air.
That's a good question. So, Madeline, if you look on Charmaine's gear here, I'm going to look over here. She has this little gauge right here. So this little gauge basically tells her how much air she has. So she looks at it, always kind of monitoring it when we're doing a dive. And then when we get to about 1,000 pounds of air, we come back up and call the dive.
Cool. So we have some viewers from Marengo, Iowa. Emma and Avery would like to know what you feed the fish.
Emma and Avery, that's a very, very good question. So if you notice, I have all my fingers, so not that.
So not fingers.
Not fingers, yeah. So basically, we feed all our fish what's called restaurant quality seafood. So they get shrimp, they get tuna, they get all kinds of different fish, including lake smelt and capelin and just really, really good fish. Squid, stuff that's just the highest restaurant quality seafood.
Sounds great.
It does. So do you know what that means, Amber?
What does it mean?
That means all these fish eat better than I do.
Oh, man.
Every one of them
Me
in this
too.
tank eat better than I do.
This zebra shark really wants to be on camera.
He does.
Just wave.
See if we can get him
Okay.
over here.
Logan wants to know if you are ever afraid of the sharks.
These sharks, nah, not so much afraid. So the cool thing about the sharks is I really kind of know their behavior and we watch them. So, if they are looking stressed or anything like that, we can observe it and kind of give them a little bit of room to swim around. So we don't ever try to want to corner a shark or anything like that. We just want to make sure, we're in their habitat. So we want to make sure we give them the room.
Great. Charlotte and Hadley want to know how old do you have to be to start diving classes?
Charlotte Hadley, very good question. I believe the age right now is 12 years old. I could be wrong, but I believe it's 12 years old. So
12 years old.
Yep.
So I don't know how old you are, Charlotte and Hadley, but you can start when you're 12. Let's see. Braden from St. Charles wants to know if the fish get annoyed with you being in there.
Braden, good question. I don't really think so. I think they kind of like it.
I think
so
they like it too.
one of the cool things, if you see all these bubbles coming out,
Yeah.
it's a really great massager.
Ooh.
So the fish get in it, and they get a nice massage, filling the bubbles. So I think they actually enjoy us being in here in the water with them.
I think so too. I see Dory back there. Is Nemo in this tank as well?
So, no, Nemo's not in this tank. So if you notice, a lot of these fish are pretty big. And we don't have a lot of hides for a fish really small. So we wouldn't put a fish in there for fear that it might get somebody's snack.
Yeah, we want to keep Nemo safe for sure. So let's see. April is doing a project in Australia, and she wants to know if you've ever dived in Australia.
So April in Australia, yes, I have dove in Australia. I've dove the Great Barrier Reef. So I actually used to run aquariums in Australia. So I moved over here from Australia to open the Great St. Louis Aquarium.
Awesome, and we're so glad to have you.
I'm glad to be here.
Ooh, a great question from Garrett, who's 3 in St. Louis City. Have you ever seen a mermaid while diving?
So, I've seen a lot of things that look like mermaids, but I haven't seen any mermaids. So I have been diving with sea lions and seals. I've seen manatees in the water. So yeah, I've seen animals look like mermaids, but I haven't seen any mermaids yet.
Well, there's still time, Aaron. Let's see. Emma wants to know how old the zebra sharks are.
So our zebra sharks, I think, are 2 years old.
2
I believe.
years old.
Yep.
Okay. And are there stingrays in this tank? Mackenzie, who's 9, is asking.
Stingrays. We do. We have 3 southern stingrays. seeing if I can see one.
They're all above you.
Yeah, they're all above me. I don't see any at the moment. Oh, we have the cow-nose rays. Yep. So they're above me right now. Some of them are at the zebra shark over there. So we do have those. But I was actually looking for stingrays, the bottom dwellers. But one of my favorite animals that we were discussing, we do have our mobula rays. They tend to be on the other side, so you might be able to see them in some of our feeds. But they're a really great animal because they look like a mini manta ray, and they're a lot of fun to actually swim with and feed.
Okay. So Nathaniel in Chicago wonders how you get back to the surface.
I go up.
Ooh, can you do more tricks for us?
I can do all kinds of tricks.
Can you spin around?
I can.
Wow.
There's the zebra shark. Let's see. We could do.
Whoa.
Hi everyone. So you can fly underwater.
Guys, how cool.
I can do my Superman. How's that? My Superman look? Not too good. Hey, look who's come to see us.
He really liked your tricks. Okay, cool. Let's see. Do we have any baby sharks right now?
We do. So they're not in this tank. We have some baby sharks that we just put in our touch pool. Shortly before we close our door, or shortly after we close our door. So we have some baby bonnet heads, which look like little hammerhead sharks.
Mm-hmm.
We do have some baby blacktip sharks that are sitting in our holding, waiting to go into this tank. So we have a lot of baby sharks that are going to get much, much bigger, and soon this will be their new home.
Is there a song that recently went viral? Something about baby sharks. Do you know anything about that?
Nope, never heard of it. Nope, not at all. Nope, nope. Really?
You
Nope.
don't want to...
Yeah.
None of this?
Baby shark, da 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 da, baby shark, da 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 da. I don't know the rest of the words.
That was great. I mean, Zebra Shark loved it.
I know, see?
I'm going to nominate you for a Grammy for sure. Let's see. Laura wants to know, how many times a day are you in there?
So, in this particular tank, we dive it about once a day. But we're actually diving all the tanks all week long. So, each tank has a scheduled day that we'll go in and we'll scrub it. We'll vacuum the substrate. We'll look at the fish and just make sure everything's perfect for these habitats that we have for these animals.
Awesome. Do you love being a diver?
Absolutely, I love being a diver. When you don't have this comm mask on, you can't hear anyone. It's absolutely quiet, peaceful, relaxing. So, yep, I love diving.
So how do you feed the sharks? Allie wants to know if you feed the fish directly into their mouths or how you feed them.
So some of the fish are broadcast fed, where we just throw the food in and whatever fish is around will eat it. Some of our fish are what's called target fed. So for instance, all the sharks that are in here, because each shark we feed individually, so we know how much food they're getting, how much they're eating, so that way we can always kind of monitor the health of those animals. Now, when you see all these fish above me, there's no way we can target feed all those fish. So we just throw food in. If they don't eat today, they'll eat tomorrow.
Great. This is all really great information, Aaron. So us talking right now, is this something that when we open back up, we'll be able to do with our guests at the aquarium?
So yeah, this is really awesome that we got this running, and thanks to our marvelous AV crew that set this up for us. Yep, we'll be able to do this, and I think we're looking at probably 2 to 3 times a day where guests will be able to come down here and talk not only to me, but to Charmaine, to Kat, to all of the mini staff that help take care of this aquarium and the animals within it.
Awesome. Let's do one more question. We're going to take a question from Travers from Chicago. He asks, do you think that the fish and the sharks recognize you?
So Travers from Chicago. Absolutely the fish recognize us. So it is funny. So I can walk across the deck above and the fish will actually follow me. So they know who we are because we feed them and we take care of them. So when they see us, they're like, oh, maybe we'll get a snack, or oh, maybe we'll get some enrichment or something. You know, something's going to happen. So they'll definitely follow you and they definitely recognize us.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. I think that we learned a lot. Let's see. We are going to be posting a activity afterwards on the St. Louis Aquarium Foundation website, so make sure to follow their Facebook page. And we are going to do more stuff like this in the future. So tomorrow at 10 a.m., we're doing our live Quarren streams, where you can just turn on our Facebook page real quick and just watch all of the different habitats that we have. We'll be doing some stingrays tomorrow, maybe some other things that we didn't see on Monday and Wednesday. And then next week, we're going to continue with our series of having breakfast with some of the animals. We're not going to tell you what it is yet, but stay tuned because it might be our best one yet. We have more School of Fish coming through
Breakfast
here.
with me, right? I get to eat breakfast?
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay! So that's all for today. Thank you for joining us. Aaron, you want to say bye?
Bye, everyone. Thank
Okay,
you for joining
Charmaine,
us.
bye.
So come out and see us and talk to us underwater here in the near future.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Ultimate social distancing.
Social distancing.
Bye.